his mom.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It is. It's really adorable. I loved seeing his parents like, at all the TIs.
Yeah.
It's great. They're always just there watching the games, even if he's not even playing. Like they were there this year, and he wasn't
They
playing.
were.
They were there watching anyway.
Yeah, they're just fans of Dota now.
Yeah, they just enjoy it.
We converted them.
Yep. It's awesome. It's great to see people like getting into it, and even though that maybe they don't understand all of it, just it's cool. My mom watches a little bit too, so it's really good to hear that from other people too.
Yeah. And it's so coming to think of this series, you know, we mentioned Enchantress, we mentioned Chen, we mentioned Cheshi on the Visage, both games that Complexity played so far. How do you feel like this draft is going to go? Like it's a big ask, I know.
It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be different. I think Complexity has a lot of heroes that they play that I think other teams don't really think that they would in those type of roles.
Okay.
I know in the past in like the qualifiers, I saw them playing safe lane Puck. I saw them playing safe lane Brewmaster. I saw them playing off lane Brewmaster, off lane Wyvern, safe lane Jakiro, mid Jakiro. It's pretty much all over the place. So I'm looking forward to just massive diversity coming from coL, even if their heroes get banned out.
But there's one hero though. I'm not sure if they play Earth Spirit. Do they play Earth Spirit?
Z-Freak plays Earth Spirit.
So what happens? They swap roles when they have Earth Spirit, or they just play Earth Spirit like position?
They'll probably just play it as a 4, right?
You can't play it as a 4.
Okay.
Oh,
because I think Earth Spirit is like a very important hero right now. Like from
I mean, we saw a previous
watching
game,
all the games yesterday and today, there were a lot of like almost all the games had Earth Spirit. Only like a few didn't have like 1 or 2. And Earth Spirit seems like to be the hero that makes a lot of difference in those games too.
Yeah. Same thing goes for Earth Spirit. Sorry, not Earth Spirit, Earth Shaker.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. I think both these heroes are just, they're so important because they're these 4 heroes that have multiple ways of like disables. They have ways to start the fight. So I just, they're definitely really important. We'll probably see, if not one of them, both of them in this game.
NaVi probably would favor Earth Spirit more, and coL would favor
Shaker more.
It's like the Chen and Enchantress. The team prefers, like it's very similar in some ways, but the team prefers a different hero.
I'm wondering about the IO, right? Because Complexity loves their IO Tiny, Limp being the best. In my opinion, actually like the best Tiny that I've seen. He's incredibly impressive on that hero.
And he's the one that always plays it, even when it's not in favor. He'll still play Tiny, and it's still great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if we're gonna see the IO though. That's.
I don't think so either. I think
probably
that's probably gonna get banned out.
I think it's probably gonna get banned. Highly unlikely we'll see the hero. And I think if you're talking about the carry Visage, I think one of the tools that NaVi has against that would be, I think the Furion, the offlane Furion. I think if you actually do that lane, Visage will struggle a lot at the start, and maybe you can actually bully and get some kills early to slow him down. Because Visage is all about getting quick level 6.
Yeah.
And if you can actually slow that down, that would actually hamper his effect in the game a lot. So maybe that could be a solution to the Visage that they've been picking so much.
We haven't seen Nature's Prophet though.
Still not.
In some of the games that he's banned.
Yeah, he's been banned a couple games.
I mean, but you're banned against Liquid because, you know, is Liquid makes sense.
Yeah, mine control.
Yeah, that's
but if I know you want Visage safe lane, I would be thinking of Furion and Brood off lane.
You have to save them though, because then if they would switch the role of the Visage, because they'll just put it elsewhere.
Yeah, they will put it elsewhere. So until I'm really certain that the Visage is going to go to the safe lane, I'm just going to pick like one of these heroes. I think Brood will be much better because if he does mid Visage, you just follow him anywhere he goes.
And we've seen NaVi play. I think I've seen mostly Dendi playing it, but I know that they can switch and have the variety for general.
Yeah, that could be a key pick for NaVi.
So when we saw NaVi play earlier today, we've seen them in 3 games, and all 3 games they have a heavy focus on that mid lane, either to help Dendi or well shut down mid 1 in this particular series. Do you think it's going to go the same way? Will they focus mid again? Will they focus Limp?
I think that's their playstyle.
Yeah.
I think it's not about focusing the enemy mid laner. It's more about just helping Dendi and making Dendi shine.
Well, it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did.
And vice versa as well. You got Complexity. We saw them. It's very difficult to judge their games because of, especially that first game, it was such a draft win that, you know, their play doesn't really tell too much of their play style. But their second game perhaps says a little bit more. How do you feel like they are going to play this game?
I think Complexity usually follows like the kind of the same stride. They just pick 5 heroes that can group up and kind of push. They really like having these like summoning heroes, the familiars, the Chen, etc. Just being able to group up and take towers easily early on and get that advantage. And then they group up and they're always fighting as 5, it seems.
But that's what NaVi does too.
Yeah, but I think against NaVi, because earlier today when they were playing against Newbie, they kind of won their lanes, you know, even with like not lane dominating heroes apart from the Viper. So I think against NaVi probably will pick better lanes and they will try to play around the mid lane more. So I think it's gonna be very different from their previous series where they had a very easy early game. So this time, if you lose your early game and you are trying to group up, it's definitely going to be a lot weaker if you lose like, at least 2 out of your 3 lanes.
And I feel like Complexity in comparison to Secret, I think Secret drafts are way more greedy. I think Complexity will definitely focus on those lanes, being able to get the good matchups and make the rotations.
It is the time for the most important question, though. I want to know, before you've even seen the draft, who do you think has the upper hand here in this matchup?
I think Complexity does.
Oh, there's no hesitation there, just straight on.
Dude, his NA dotes.
Oh, that's yeah, that's totally why. That's not why. I really like the way that they've been, not only the way that they've been playing, but I actually got a little bit lucky, and I was at the Summit House when they were there playing, and I got to listen to their communication and stuff when they were doing some scrims and stuff. I just really like the team synergy that's going on between them. But NaVi has that going, but...
Yeah, what I was going to say, how can you say you've not been at NaVi, and even though you wouldn't understand what they're saying.
Exactly, that's what
But, you know, they might have that too. And from the game we just watched, it seems like they had that down too.
Fine, biased. You're right.
It's fine.
I really like the way that they played this early game. I really like the way they played earlier today. It was super impressive to me. Taking out NaVi, a second place TI team, they dismantled them.
Yeah, you cannot ignore that. They trashed.
So I guess I have to go with I was impressed with NaVi.
Yes. I mean, we all.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Yeah, no, I mean they definitely did kick some ass.
They are Earth Spirit team. I'm a big fan of the hero.
Okay.
And so NaCo plays it really, really well.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing for me for NaVi, which makes them like a really scary team. They've got Seneko, great Earth Spirit, and then they got Roger, who is all over the place as well. They got these 2 supports that I consider both being a 4 and kind of sharing support duties.
4.5, 4. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I do really like Roger. He's definitely like the shining one for me. Even when he was on Empire, when we'd watch him, even when they'd lose, I'd be like, damn, this guy's really putting his team on the back. Like he's really trying his hardest.
He's very good with, I would say, like the first 6-minute movement. He's really good at those, like how he moves and secures a lane advantage for his team. And sometimes I kind of think that he has also very interesting ideas on what to buy on his position 4 hero or 4.5 hero. So I'm also really impressed by him since TI.
And if you would compare Seneko to coL, because that is the matchup, right?
They're very different though. One guy is like...
They're both 5 positions. They're both listed as 5.
coL's so selfless, dude.
No,
he just
yeah,
feeds.
coL is like...
He feeds, he doesn't buy anything. He's just
he won't even care if he doesn't have dagger or shaker. I'm just going to cast my fissure. I'm going to buy wards. We're going to win the game. I'm going to lead the team. I'm going to command a smoke.
He's reminding me of PPD from back when EG was dominating.
Seneko is more like... what special move can I do this game? I'm gonna get an X on my Earth Spirit if I can.
And I'm gonna kick Underlord away right when he does his ultimate.
He strikes me more like that kind of the high skill player instead of like the more captain and driving your teammate kind of guy.
Absolutely, I would 100% agree with that.
Because Roger is not a captain for NaVi, right? At the moment.
No, don't think so.
I'm not very sure though. I don't think they have like a clear captain. I think everyone
was he saying that he is?
I remember him drafting at some point at Dream League, but I also remember them being told that they basically like his ideas and they want to try it out, and they're basically drafting together anyway, so it doesn't really matter who's wearing the helmet.
Yeah, it feels more like a team effort here from them, whereas for coL, it's like one man has this idea on how to play the game, and
it's happening.
I mean, it works.
I mean,
hard to work with, right? Moo's interview even said, we have some hard to work with things. Very stern and serious for a second.
More difficult to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to win, if everyone follows one direction, it's better than everyone has different ideas and you're all over the place,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we are still, by the way, waiting for the game to start. Should be very soon. It seems like the teams are still setting up, and as you just saw, we just had a 81-minute game between NaVi and Secret. So you should still be high on Dota. You're good to go, but NaVi also still has to get in the groove again and reset and get ready for this winners bracket finals, because the winner of this will be safe from the day of death. They will be in the top 4 and they will be making it to the playoffs straight off, while the loser still has to play tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna say goodbye to 4 teams. It's gonna get really rough.
My favorite day. When you see people get eliminated, the emotions come out. What? It is a good day.
A little bit sadistic there.
Yeah, well, that's when everybody gets all salty because they lose their favorite team. It's good stuff. And then
it's not the day of death. It's a fun day.
It's the fun day.
Yeah, it's a fun day. We're gonna rename it. It's the day of death for the teams, though. It's very scary because there's a chance you have to. If you win the first game, if you are one of the teams that got knocked out first. That means
you have more time for pubs and prepare
for
the next event.
Got knocked out first down in the group. That means you have the chance that you have to play 2 elimination matches in a row. Not in a row. There's still a series break there, but it's a scary day. Elimination matches, and this is the first minor. You don't want to end up last in the first minor.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I guess not. But
it still makes it fun to watch for
it's
you.
fun
and
for it's
fun
fun
to
for the
watch
viewers
at home as well. That's why
Yeah.
single elimination actually is also can also be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will have single elimination for the playoffs, by the way. So we'll get that going. But that all is all later on. As said, first match that we're having, or the next match that we're having right here, is Complexity versus NaVi. And Winter, you said you like NaVi, so was it actually you saying that you think NaVi is gonna take this?
I guess.
You kind of
biased
Yeah.
biased in a way now.
Okay, I guess so.
And they Winter.
I mean,
yeah,
they
that
played
sounds
really
very
well.
convincing. They did play very well.
Whenever they're at this arena, I always just see a
Sure.
difference in this team. Like last time when they were here, they brought it all the way to second place, and everybody just started playing way better than they were before. It was like, where the hell has this team been?
There's just a spark somewhere.
Yeah,
in
there's
this
something
arena.
about this crowd just getting it going. I don't know if maybe Complexity gets affected by it a little bit. They're gonna hear it, you know. Kyle's gonna be like, idiots.
No,
You
well,
guys
if
don't know what you're doing.
anything, I feel like Complexity is the type of team that would get fueled by it as well. If the team's cheering for the enemy team, if the crowd's cheering for the enemy team, you know, he'll get fueled, say, we'll show these.
Maybe a bit.
Whoops.
We have draft, by the way. So NaVi, they'll ban out the Earthshaker as well as the IO first off, and basically Shen and Enchantress are still in the pool.
What happened to
What the-
Batman?
Ooh.
I haven't seen too many of Batmans.
Well,
okay.
that's a
There he
Batman.
is. There he is.
Is that Batman that you meant, or did you
Yeah.
actually mean
That's
Bat
the one he
Rider?
meant, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mean Bruce Wayne. I mean Night Stalker, the vampire.
Okay, okay.
What? Bruce Wayne?
Whatever.
That was something right there, Winter. Instant response with Spirit Breaker, and
Yeah, that's like the
Nature's
typical,
Prophet.
Hey!
typical counter. I mean, not like counter, but a hero that you can pick to deal with the NS pressure early with the SB, and SB is really good with Furen, because you charge and the Furen TP scene, you have instantly two men to the fight scene.
yeah, you can always outnumber. And the early like rune contestation, like they're gonna right away go bottom, contest that level 1 bounty rune, and this is a very strong duel lane.
Yeah, and because why I like the Furen pick here is because Navi's playstyle, they roam a lot. They
Yeah.
send the two supports around a lot. So Furen is the kind of off lane that can actually bully the carry if you ditch him.
And they're gonna ditch him. Yeah, they're really gonna ditch him.
Maybe they're gonna help him a little. I'm not sure if they're gonna entirely ditch him, because if they don't have a good matchup against the Furen, like most of the carries suffer a lot in the lane.
Yeah.
They're gonna struggle if they ditch him completely.
From
It's gonna like force them to maybe alter a bit of their focus early, that they need to use some resource to help the carry.
we saw a couple situations when we were watching Dream League that yeah they would ditch Crystallize a lot, and he usually didn't die though. That was the really impressive thing that I saw from him. He
Yeah.
would keep his cool even though he'd be like 1v3, he'd lose his tower
Oh,
super early. He
yeah.
would just play very safe and let his team do what they want to do around the map.
But this game, like the roam won't be so easy, because like say
Yeah.
you're gonna play 3-man mid, like because you have this Night Stalker, and it's like really similar to what they had previously when they 3-man gank mid one as
Yep.
the Necro. They're like during night phase, it's gonna be all heroes in mid. But coL has the SB and the Furen
Yeah.
to help the mid lane, and you can even have the position 5 carry a TP early, TP to mid, so you can have 4 heroes in mid to fight against that instantly. So
Yeah.
what coL has right now is pretty good against the Navi's early game pressure.
Yeah, I think that this opener from coL is just good versus Navi in general as a team,
Yeah.
because of like exactly what you're mentioning.
Very scary. How do you deal with it? Like, you know that these two are going to come in to your mid lane, or to any lane for that matter. How do you make sure your lanes are safe?
You don't overcommit to the dive if you're the NS and Ench, and you try not to avoid like really ditching and losing the other lanes. You try not to focus on mid so much. I mean, you still try to pressure at the right time, but you don't over pressure, because if you over pressure, you're gonna lose the other lanes maybe as bad, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
be worth it.
I think keeping eyes on where the Spirit Breaker is going to be is really important, and then keeping note of when Nature's Prophet hits 6, just whenever he's kind of being ready, like TP, you have to call it out. It's like, oh, like Nature's Prophet TPing in, like have a lane ward so you can see whenever he's trying to make those rotations as well.
Yeah, so Night Stalker is actually later on in the game pretty good against Nature's Prophet, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, when you get Axe, it's
Yeah.
pretty annoying.
Do you
for him.
still get Ags fairly early on, though? No.
take some time.
Yeah, it depends
Actually,
on the
you
game.
get Flying Vision when you get Hunter in the night.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
helps.
you don't really exactly need the axe, but having the axe is even better at some stage. Like in the late game stage when you're like trying
Yeah.
to catch, you're trying to, because it's gonna be like split push.
Yeah.
Forcing creep waves around, and you want the axe to actually prevent that from happening against the Prophet.
Weaver and Necro bans.
Weaver and they're banning out because they understand that they are going to pressure the other lanes too. So they are banning out the heroes that are really good at self-sustain as a carry, don't need too much help, so the SB can actually pressure the other lanes and force rotations elsewhere.
Bit tough for them to actually like deal with the that Weaver as well. If it was there, they don't really have any straight lockdown. Sure, the Night Stalker has the silence and it's incredibly good versus Weaver, but yeah, no straight lockdown versus it, and no real burst coming out from these two heroes. That's why I feel like they also banned the Necro. Night Stalker and Enchantress can suffer versus that, just unable to like kill him down, and those are the big roamers as we keep
and look at
on.
the second phase ban of coL as well. They ban out Ember and Puck. Those are the two heroes that you can't charge at. It's very difficult for you to charge at. So both teams have like very distinct plans here. They pick the Jakiro. They're gonna pressure more tower.
Core Night Stalker or core Enchantress coming out, right?
Well, offline Enchantress.
I think both is okay, and because it's like a CIS team, like I've seen like a few Night Stalker off lanes from them. I think both is okay depending on what kind of game you want to play. And what kind of like carry matchup you get. Maybe Ench offlane is better against their carry, then you go for that. Or you think NS offlane is okay. Still flexible.
The Witch Doctor pick, of course, to deal with the Nature's Prophet treants in the laning phase. And pretty good. I mean, from as far as I've seen, the Witch Doctor casks in team fights can be quite nice. But now coL responds with Jakiro, and I love when they pick this like third pick Jakiro too, because you don't know where it's going to be. We've seen it ran in pretty much all the roles from Complexity.
Probably like support.
Probably Kyle.
I think Kyle, Swindles will play this. I think this game. Like NS is, I mean, it's pretty good against NS because like NS wants to like gank, but later with Jakiro you can just group up and push towers, and it makes the NS pretty useless in those kind of situations. As long as you don't lose the early game, the lane too badly, then you group up and you push towers, and NS can't do much.
That's exactly what we were talking about with Complexity too. Is they really like doing that, just group up, not let the other team play their game properly.
They're both taking their time quite well. Well, Complexity a little bit more than NaVi, because the way they picked their first two made me feel like they had like a set plan, but something changed.
I still kind of like coL's idea more up to this point. I like what they have against NaVi, and they clearly have a very solid, well thought out plan how to deal with what NaVi is going to bring to the table, the 3-man mid. And having solid lanes and heroes that can back up the mid lane is really, really crucial, so you don't really get run over, during the night phase.
I think they're probably just weighing different heroes there. And okay, they take Razor.
Another good lane.
Yep, just strong laner.
They don't want the possibility of an Ench off lane running over their safe lane. So they're picking this just solid laner, good lane.
So how do you feel like the lanes are shaping up for Complexity? Is that Razor going to be mid or safe lane?
I think safe lane.
Safe lane.
Okay.
Both is possible, but I think I'm leaning more towards safe lane now for them. And they go for this CK pick, which I'm not really so sure because they have the Jakiro. I guess apart from the Jakiro Razor, I don't know. Jakiro is pretty good against illusion heroes like CK.
I think it's to try to like catch the lanes out mostly, so they can punish.
Yeah, I guess it's like much more aggressive and it suits their playstyle. They can actually run at you. They have a lot of right now. They have a lot of stuns. They can catch the Prophet.
I'm concerned though because they don't really have wave clear at all on Navi. And you look at Complexity's game plan. They want to group up. They want to get that push going with the Nature's Prophet.
Is this still a Visage game, by the way, for Complexity? It could, right?
They have last pick though. I mean,
they do.
Definitely possible.
It's definitely possible. I mean.
Would it be good, though, is the question.
Yeah, maybe. I could see it working.
It's really good with Jakiro. The combo, if you do land an Ice Path on anybody, you can follow up with the familiar stuff.
Oh, the guy never moves,
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Broodmother ban from Navi and a Queen of Pain ban from coL. So they don't really have...
Yeah, the quad ban is the similar concept with the Ember and Puck ban because they have the Spirit Breaker charge. They want to make sure that the middle laner is not a hero that can get away from the charge. So you can put pressure.
Can Lina get away?
No, she's gonna have to rely on her team though. That's what you want when you pick the Spirit Breaker as coL. You want the mid lane to be susceptible to your ganks, so you can put pressure.
Not a whole lot of time that Complexity's got to work with. They worked through all the reserve time, only 10 seconds.
Oh, this is not an easy decision what to pick though. They have a lot of options still, because they can still switch their lanes around.
They can move it around. I don't think they've even ran Nature's Prophet in the safe lane, I want to say, but I think it's still going to be the Razor in the safe lane. I think that they have. I don't know why I remember Chessie playing it.
That's
a silencer.
That is a
mid silencer. Is that
Looks
mid
like it could
silencer
be.
or mid Jakiro? No,
They're
no,
waiting
right.
to pick up. No, Limp is gonna play
Limp's
the
gonna
Razor.
play the mid Razor. Okay.
So who's the carry?
So who's the
Jakiro
carry?
off lane, support silencer, carry Prophet.
Well, they're taking their time to pick up
I actually
these
have no
heroes.
idea what
It's,
they're
it is.
trying-
I'm telling you, it's the one Prophet. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
done. I've seen them do this one before, and it is Moo playing the Jakiro.
So offlane
So-
Jakiro.
Oh, they're pretty good lane against the CK or Jakiro. I think it's pretty good in the lane against that.
Oh.
Do you guys want to change your calls or not?
I'm sticking with coL. I
Alright.
love the group up that they've got going here, and the silencer is a bit interesting to me though.
What do
But
you
it's
say,
just
Winter?
about strength in the lane.
Not a fan of CK, but I don't have a choice. Let's go, Navi.
You always got a choice here. You know, you don't have to side. Nobody of the audience is gonna kill you if you don't. But it is time for our first game of our upper bracket finals of Group B. Over to our commentators Blitz and Capitalist for game number 1.
Winner's not a fan of the Chaos Knight. I'm not a fan of the Razor. Blitz, are you a fan of anything in this draft?
Good Dota.
Good Dota. What a
They're gonna run at each
blasé
other.
answer. Come on.
What do you want from me?
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Going into the series,
Yes.
Who did you think looked better?
coL.
coL. Okay,
Complexity.
and looking at this draft, who do you think is going to win?
The fans.
You're giving me some real non-committal.
I'm good at this.
Are you
I
a little
like
shook
this.
right now that I had you on the draft?
No?
Offlane Jakiro,
What am I
baby.
going to be shook
Come
by?
on.
Congratulations. You guessed a pick for once in your life. Really proud of you. Let me just clip that for you. I'll go back, watch the VOD, clip that, and
You
I'll
know,
just
you-
send it to you.
You know, this is why I do this, right?
Yeah?
I was looking back and I was like, what made Cap Blitz such a good duo? And I was like, well, it's not my play-by-play. I'm no Toby. And I was
True.
like, is it Blitz? And I was like, no, he could be Cinderin. That could definitely be better. And I was like, well, Blitz likes to make fun of me a lot, so maybe that's what makes the magic duo.
No, it's definitely me, man. I'm going to be real. The last year was a little rough. Watching some of those casts. But it's all good. We're back and inspired.
Thank you, William. You're really inspiring me with a whole lot of confidence to call
Love
this
you.
game.
All right. So on a serious analysis, if you want the real truth, Navi teamfight is good. They have a very fast lineup, very very fast. Cooldowns almost none. They've got a good amount of heal, and so if we saw yesterday, like the Witch Doctor heal is very useful for just getting into these mini skirmishes. So when it comes to these like mini fights, these ganks, Navi is going to be very successful. But complexity, they're going to farm. They're going to farm really fast. It's going to be hard for Navi to push the pace. That's why they took this Lina hero, because they needed something that could wave clear aggressively
Okay.
and keep the lanes counter-pushed in from this Nature's Prophet. Because when you play against NP, I've talked about it 100 times, you don't really want to straight up 5-on-5. You want to force people around the map to play very reactively so that you can set the tempo of the game and choose the battlefield so that you always get the advantageous fight.
Now, that's NP in a nutshell, right?
Yes.
Is that you want to be able to force that. What is the subtle difference between the off lane and the safe lane? Nature's Prophet, that is a specialty of complexity.
I think the safe lane Nature's Prophet is really cool just because it allows it so that your supports can also pick up levels. You can just do a quick gank, your supports get a level or two. You don't really sacrifice too much because this hero will get farmed no matter what. The downside, of course, though, is that yes, it does scale, but it scales in a different way than a lot of heroes. It scales so that you can continue to split push. There's never really a point on NP that you're super comfortable unless you're really far ahead taking a 5-on-5.
Right, okay. And when I was looking at, when they first picked up the Furion Spirit Breaker, I thought, man, this sounds like a pretty good answer to the Enchantress, right? Whose impact is felt so early with that extra creep, where she goes through these ganks, but you have two basically like pseudo-global heroes, right?
Yeah.
Where the Spirit Breaker can charge in, you can bring a core to any of these engagements as long as it's not ganking the Furion, but if he tries to gank mid or the bottom lane, for example, they can bring a core to that engagement. I feel like that's a good way to alleviate some of that laning phase
Oh, this
pressure.
is pretty cool. So they kind of messed around with them in the lanes, and so now it's an NP plus a Silencer bottom against Night Stalker, and a Jakiro and a Spirit Breaker top. So laning-wise, they've done a very good job for themselves complexity, and this is something that I've noticed as a trend all day, is that they want to pick these kinds of mid-heroes that are very self-sufficient, that'll almost always just trade even or do well by themselves. So we saw previous picks, Viper and Death Prophet.
Yes.
In this game, they take the Razor, just very safe heroes that they can pick early on that won't necessarily lose. They pick very strong side lanes.
So you're saying that's not something that they did specifically against Newbie?
Yes.
Right? In
I
order
thought it
to go
was.
against SCC, but you're saying this is more of, you think this is their style?
Yeah, and I think as a general sense, if you really want to kind of pigeonhole them, is they really want to teamfight you. They want to teamfight you, and they want to be able to transition it into a push. A lot of teams, or some teams, will just go for kills, and eventually it'll lead to objectives, but the point is really just to get kills, to get that snowball lead, but Complexity, they really like to be able to win that fight and then immediately take towers there and after.
Okay, so now we've got the lane switch up again. Jakiro's going to be following this Chaos Knight everywhere he goes, apparently.
They absolutely have to switch that, but NaVi, this is the upside of having an NP on your team. It takes nothing for him to be able to swap his lane.
Yeah. And so Complexity's already getting, well, I was going to say a bit of a lead, but it looks like slight net worth lead.
Oh, another switch.
To NaVi so far.
But General doesn't have a TP, right?
I mean, this can't be good for Crystallize, right? The Chaos Knight, we talked about it in the last series where, like, you cannot afford to have a bad laning phase. It's rare that you do as Chaos Knight, but you really got to get that jump start on that hero because he has no natural farming.
This is just kind of awkward for NaVi in general as mid. This is the power of the Spirit Breaker. The Nature's Prophet TP.
Roger is here with the stuns to be able to turn onto Limp, but it's not going to be fast enough to stop that first blood from going down. They might be able to trade 2 for 2. Now, maybe a third. Seneco's going to try and run down Z-Freak with the help of General. He came all the way from the off lane to help secure that extra kill, but Z-Freak moves himself away, and Maledict, 50 HP.
Oh.
It's enough. Just enough. Is that a level 1 Maledict? Just enough damage to be able to get that kill. A 3 for 2 exchange in the mid.
Oh, that was a lot of damage on that Maledict. But in general, no pun intended, somewhat even-ish trade just because Complexity were able to get the first blood. But very good of NaVi to be able to set that tone and show, if you bring heroes mid, we can bring heroes mid too. The downside, though, of course, is that nobody was bottom.
Chessie with a quick TP after the Chaos Bolt.
Nobody was bottom, though, for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, you meant on the side of NaVi, right? Jakiro had total free lane.
Yes. But that's why Roger's going to make his way down here, and this Enchantress needs to do a lot because she's going to be the one to salvage these lanes, and Dendi already has done very good for himself, and somehow even winning this mid lane so far.
Now, do you feel like having sort of a safe, oh, they're actually going to the Jakiro in the bottom lane, Moo dropping low. This would have been a really big kill. He's getting out of range now. The Golems seem to not have any shards left. They have charge on a General, and he's just outside of range. He's going to turn, maybe. They get some damage on a General with the dual breath, and now the Z-Freak is here. They can actually kill General with the help of that fire. General almost burning down. 15 HP is all that he's left with. And they are going to be able to, whoa, they actually killed coL the top lane. Moo's going to turn against Roger again, trying to slow him down, but now he'll in turn be slowed by the enchant that Roger has in place, netted in place as well. Z-Freak is here. Chessie joining the party. They're bringing everyone they have. Dendi, though, finished off Moo, and he got the firepower to push back the rest of Complexity. Z-Freak and Chessie both maybe not retreating, they're turning, going for Roger, maybe just going to beat down Dendi.
Oh, this is a double damage
charge. Can they get a bash? Come on, the LZ. Oh, the damage from Chessie is just enough. They're going to grab Roger with a Sprout. Z-Freak does not have enough for another charge, but if they body block Roger enough with these treants, Roger's going to go the other way. Go ahead and root up Chessie. They're going to turn. Chessie is actually going to be trying to chase down Roger as best he can. Barely going to be able to get it. Z-Freak goes for the deny, and Neutral's not able to. General gets himself that kill. And it looks
he's even gonna
like
fight Chessie.
He's still going to try. What are we doing at top lane? Come on, General. He does manage to get that kill. What are we doing at top lane, man?
Very well done. As coL, at the same time, dies at top, but still. Overall, if you look at the gold, in Complexity's favor, though, as this Razor starting to take the lead.
Maledict, tick, tick, tick. Seneco goes for the TP out. Good of coL to turn around, knowing he's dead, and just gets whatever damage he can. Does end up resulting in the kill on Seneco.
Yeah, and the downside for NaVi right now is that they're going to lose this bottom tower relatively uncontested. So even with all these kill advantages, and they're going to go on mid, Limp, going to get gone on, the LSA is going to land, getting low, but the charge comes in. Dendi going to get hit, backed up as General is in deep for this one.
Oh, nice use of the fly there to be able to cancel the healing salve, the quick hit, but Limp is still tanky enough that General is not going to be able to go for that kill.
Complexity should almost immediately shrine after this, reset things, as their Nature's Prophet all of a sudden has 2,600 net worth. No idea where that came from as Moo devastating this bottom tower. As NaVi seems largely unconcerned by the loss of this tower, but they're not going to be able to grab any other towers on the map, so map control going to go the way of complexity early on, and something relatively expected, considering all the lane shenanigans.
Yeah, for me, this looks like
bottom
Complexity Red, what they wanted to do, which is high aggressions. They move to rotate onto move, but now
Chessie comes here too.
Those two global heroes are there. Now it's a 3 versus 2. What was supposed to be a 1 versus 2, a free pickoff. General is going to be able to get out of range, though. It is nighttime. Won't be able to spot him out. Z-Freak not able to get that extra charge, but still, free tower, no death there. They're getting the experience advantage. They have to, right? Because they've got that free tower. They're a little bit up in gold as well. It seems to me like Complexity Red, hey, Navi's going to be hyper-aggressive in the laning phase, especially once we see that Enchantress pick up. Let's pick up these heroes that can rotate a whole bunch and just try and beat them out in numbers.
Yeah, the downside of this Enchantress right now is that she wasn't able to do the catapult trick and take a tower of her own just because of all this infighting.
Yeah.
And so her game is a little bit slowed down as a result, but Crystallize still doing all right at top lane. He's kind of evened out. Second in net worth right now, and charges coming in as Z-Freak should get spotted by this mid wave.
Yeah,
that is the most obvious charge of all time. Oh, gets hit by Roshan. If you get clipped by a bash there, ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, that makes you real unhappy. Take like 3 shots from Roshan, have
Man,
a little tango,
and you're in the Roche pit. You got to get out.
But now you've got an over-leveled Jakiro, at least in comparison to this Chaos Knight, who's now going to be matched again against the Chaos Knight.
Yes.
Crystallizes immediately out of there. He's dodging this guy at all costs.
I just realized he didn't have a DD at bottom. It's just that his model always looks like he does.
Yes. Yes.
That is so confusing.
Yeah.
My mistake, guys. As
Smoke
mid
up,
limp,
General and Roger with double Hellbears
he
and a
is
Golem to be able to
in
lead
trouble.
things off.
Z-Freak is ready, though. He could get the charge.
Oh, but he's charging on Identity to be able to stop that follow-up damage, but the LSA was there first. The magic damage is enough, but a Fury on bounce goes and eliminates Dendy. Now they're going to go for Roger as well. Chessie TPing in, slow to attack with the heals going out, but it looks like the Silencer Nuke is just enough.
Oh,
a heavy Maledict onto Chessie should be enough to finish him off, but Z-Freak is going to keep moving forward, trying to go for Senego. Gets the lucky bash, looks for another one as the Treants come in, body blocking up beautifully. Senego's not going anywhere, turns around for the Cavs, but can't get out of there alive. 10-8. This game is heating up now. 8.5 minutes in, we've had a total of 18 kills, including 1 tower death as well. And Crystallize is in his happy place. He's trying to ignore all this action and just focus on farming.
He needs to. He has to play the true 1 position in a game like this, especially with Dendy's game a little bit stunted. And meanwhile, up at top, during this entire action, Mu decided to continue pushing out this top lane. He's going to try to eliminate all the tier 1s. As he's going to get rooted up.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that one? It's both Mu and Chessie in the same lane here.
It's scary, though.
They've got firepower. They've got Treants in front. It's going to take a whole lot of Navi to stop this tier 1 from falling.
Yes, but Navi have done a very good job of keeping up in things like levels. Experience, perfectly fine. Navi just barely behind in gold despite that tower advantage on the side of Complexity. And it's largely due to Complexity being able to group up together, splitting a lot more gold that way.
And you are going to say, like, they both have sort of a free farming core on both sides, right? Mu was able to take that early tower, so it feels like, oh man, they're getting so much more. But we do have Crystallize, who's kind of free farming away, and he's going to have a much larger impact later on into the game, right?
Yeah, and the upside of a hero like Lina is that she flash farms so quickly, and so that even if you're a little bit behind, you can catch up to heroes like Razor, who just don't have that ability to switch to the jungle. And Crystallize even getting what looks like a solo kill on coL at bottom.
Yeah,
that's 300
Phantasm. Ooh, easy getaway there from Senego on top of the enemy shrine. Don't know if he was doing some aggressive warding or what. Yeah. Again, we're going to see Roger pick up this early Medallion of Courage.
It's very fast.
What do you think about that Medallion pickup on the
General,
Enchantress? Oh,
charged up,
Z-Freak
even
with
ulted.
Level 6.
He needs a 17%.
Oh, he got the bash. Limbs there with the extra cleanup. 2. Chessie trying to defend against the Phantasm push at bottom lane.
They want to take this top tower, though. Chessie's just going to TP bottom, scare things off. He always has a TP scroll if there's a huge fight. They want to take these tier 1s out as fast as possible, though, Cap, so that they can start pressuring the map a little bit further, open things up, make it hard for Navi to go into their own jungle, but Crystallize waiting in the wings. Chessie has no idea that this is happening. Senego's coming in from the north, but he's going to immediately TP out. Barely gets it.
Great read from Chessie. And as a result, they will manage to take that top tower. So many heroes rotating to bottom.
Oh, and Dendy going to get TP'd on mid, even charged up.
You got the link on him. Head over to mid lane, please. We got him. Treants
The global
silence goes down just to get that extra bit of firepower, but back to the shrine. Dendy finally gets it. Meanwhile, General battling with Z-Freak right next to that tower should be able to pick up this kill as Z-Freak does not get the lucky bash to create himself space. Back over to top lane, Roger is now joined by Dendy. It's incredible how fast this game is moving around. Complexity are making this such a frenetic, chaotic game, moving heroes all around, but Navi is actually keeping up. Sineko's going to be able to come in from behind, but that Fury and all just knocked both Dendy and Roger dangerously low, and Sineko comes in. He was supposed to be laying a trap, but they're too unhealthy to actually move forward. They lose Roger, and Dendy has to head back to base.
Dendy with 2 near misses as Crystallize, during that entire time, was farming, but does decide to TP for that top engagement. Nothing happening, though, is now mid. And this is the kind of playstyle you want to do as a Nature's Prophet team. You're making them just look everywhere. You're giving them different looks. You're forcing TPs here and there. You're making it very hard for the team to keep up. How often is it that we just see a mid-tier 1 taken completely uncontested, especially in Tier 1 Dota? Not very often. It's going to go down for the side of Complexity.
So Complexity, we can say the laning phase was success in the fact that they managed to take all those outer Tier 1 towers. But what do they do with this map control now?
They've got to force in things, allow Mu to continue to push out this top lane, get control of that enemy jungle. We see that they have this ward already on the shrine area right here. And just continue to get kills right now as Mu going to get gone on. This might have been a little bit too far. First time he's going to get punished for this.
They are going to rotate over with coL and Limp coming in. Mu is finally going to take out from the Maledict, it looks like, but Limp is here. He's managed to take a lot of damage away from Crystallize. Still takes a lot for the Phantasm, though. Roger managed to finish him off. Chessie, he's being chased by General. Flies up in the trees to be able to fight him too, but the charge comes in. If they can finish off the Night Stalker, maybe Chessie can get out of here alive, and they do so successfully. Z-Freak kills him. Chessie running deeper into the trees does not have a TP out. There's no way he survives for another 17 seconds. Dendy will claim that bounty, and it seems like Complexity have overstepped their bounds and their aggression, get caught in a nasty team fight. NaVi pick up the big one.
And that was a result of them having this ward down. They felt very safe. They felt like they could make that rotation in time, but NaVi just a little bit stronger right now, and Dendy starting to scale way ahead of this Razor as he continues to just farm. Those 2 missed kills on him gonna haunt Complexity a little bit, as if you're the team that 5-mans like this, Cap, you are gonna fall behind in terms of levels and farm, especially on individual heroes, as Dendy is already level 12. No one on Complexity is even very close to that.
And it does feel like, oh, Chessie going to be caught by General here.
Another
does not have
death.
the silence. Z-Freak's coming in. Let's see if they can get it. Oh, there goes the global silence. So Dendy's not going to be able to finish off Chessie. And they actually turn trying to go for General, but as the global silence wears off, Dendy becomes a threat once again. So they back themselves away. Dendy's at half HP though, and they do have Limp coming in. He's going to start draining away Roger's damage, moving deeper into that Tier 2 tower area. Now, Complexity, are they really going to dive so deep into this one? It looks like they're going to forgo this team fight. They already had one nasty one at that top lane. They cannot afford another engagement that gives so much golden experience back to NaVi.
And despite the gold lead right now, NaVi doing just fine. Both their cores on top of the game right now. General's had a bit of a rough time of it, but the 2 wave pushers on his team are doing very well for themselves, so everything's okay.
I am surprised that Complexity is keeping up this pace, because I thought naturally, as the map becomes a bit smaller, right, those Tier 1 towers go down, if you're only defending Tier 2s as NaVi, it's a much shorter distance to rotate.
Yes.
So I thought that maybe NaVi would be able to keep up with this a little bit better when it came to defending Tier 2s, but Complexity is still moving them around the map with just as much aggression as they were before.
Still, it's not really leading to as much, especially after that top engagement. If you have this kind of lineup, you can't really afford to mess up. And in the past, they had this hero like this Earthshaker who would right the ship if 1 or 2 fights went wrong. This game, they don't have that huge teamfight hero that's going to turn the tide, and so their play just has to be a little bit tighter than that. And so far, NaVi, they're just farming faster than them is the big part.
Z-Freak going to be caught here. Paralyzing cast bouncing beautifully. Z-Freak goes down. And NaVi don't even try and poke at the Tier 1 tower, it seems. Just go right back to farming.
Yes, and meanwhile at bottom, coL just trying to shove the waves in, and this is what NaVi is trying to counteract. They're trying to counter shove the waves in. They don't really care so much, I think, about these Tier 1s early on just because they are picking up these kills. And now they've taken the gold lead, despite the fact that there is a heavy tower lead on Complexity Saver. So a lot of this net worth almost empty. And with a few towers taken, NaVi will even widen that gap.
Okay, so it seems like coL is slowing it down now.
They have to.
What's their next step, though? Because I'm rapidly feeling like NaVi's, it's becoming their game real quickly.
The issue is that oftentimes when Complexity did take a fight, it was under the shrine area or close to it. So those fights, for the most part, are ill-attempted. And on top of that, NaVi almost always got that circle on them. They were able to wrap around. For Complexity, I think they need to slow down the pace of the game, allow their Nature's Prophet to do a little bit more work. But NaVi not going to allow that very smartly. I really like this Roshan attempt because it forces Complexity into a situation where they have to decide, but they've got no sentries on the ground. Z-Freak just going to walk in.
Z-Freak, are you going to do this?
Oh, he's going to go for it.
He's going to try. He's got that empty slot.
He's going to go for the charge. Oh,
a little bit too early. Roshan is not dead yet. He's going to be stunned up, immediately blown apart, but he just picked up by Dendy. Roger almost dies, but Chessie's unable to right-click him, and the magic damage coming out from Moo is not going to be enough. Kyle's going to take out from the Maledict, surely, as Aaron is on top of him as well. So 2 losses there from Complexity, and a failed attempt to be able to snatch away the Aegis from NaVi.
Almost an absolutely brilliant attempt by Z-Freak. He was just a smidgen too early for that. Dendy, fast fingers, manages to pick it up. NaVi taking complete control of this game right now. Even though it only looks like 2,000 gold, their potential to farm is just a little bit higher, and a lot of this gold is wrapped into this tower lead, and the towers are slowly starting to get lower and lower. This mid tower already at 400 health, and if NaVi so chooses, I think Complexity just has to avoid these fights now. Yeah,
I mean, you've got the first really big power item for the Chaos Knight, I would say, and that Echo Saber, like, it gives you such fast kills. I don't know, like, Complexity, you look at every single one of their heroes, as you said, they don't have that big team fight in the Earthshaker or something like that they do normally have. And they're also missing the fact that every single one of these cores, every single one of these heroes in general wants to be ahead. And they're finally behind in net worth and experience for once.
Yes, and meanwhile, this mid tower being shoved in, but NaVi not really committing to anything because they're very comfortable with this pace right now. They realize we're out farming them, guys. None of the pressure is on us to make a move. And that was the large issue, is that Complexity feels like they have to do something. You notice the smoke. They feel like they have to continuously make moves. And an ill-advised one at that. They get pinged out. NaVi just going to run back, and this is a very disciplined NaVi in the mid-game. Despite what happened in the laning phase.
And that's the reason I keep on asking you, like, okay, what does coL do next? Because it feels like the answer for NaVi is very simple, right? They just keep playing their game, they keep farming, they're naturally going to win the game that way.
Yes.
Right?
I think
as long as they didn't get run over too early and they stayed in a decent net worth area, they're going to be good.
Complexity just has to keep shoving in the lanes, let things come a little bit more naturally to them. They can open up this bottom tier 2, and once that happens, Nature's Prophet game improves a lot. Then he's able to pressure tier 3s if ill-advised fights ever happen, as Dendy going to get charged, but it gets canceled up because this is not necessarily a fight they might want to take.
Paralyzing Cast goes out.
This is going to be a pretty huge fight if they decide to take it. NaVi, even with the Aegis, and not willing to force.
I love the fact that he had the Ice Ogre. You know, throwing down the Ice Armor when you've got Razor, you've got Furion, you've got so many right-clickers on the side of Complexity. It makes it so much harder to decisively take that engagement. It looks like Complexity are going to full-on back out now that they see a 5-man coming out from NaVi. They're going to go for the split push at bottom lane, but that's already being counteracted as the Witch Doctor is going to try and set up the gank. You can see him
all the way around.
He's already wrapping around behind the Furion just to be able to catch him as the second TP comes in from Dendy. Now it doesn't bounce anywhere, and Chessy is going to be able to get the TP out. He's good. Nice body blocking there. He stops the secondary stun.
He's charged up. The attack speed slow is on him, though. The charge isn't going to connect, and he's just going to safely get away. NaVi take a tier 1 tower of their own. And this is what I said, is Complexity, they need to avoid these fights. They need to allow their Nature's Prophet to create some space.
Z-Freak. Wrong neighborhood, my friend. Wrong neighborhood. No opportunity to get a charge out. New meta.
This is how you know a team's winning. They're spamming the chat wheel stuff. In the beginning, Complexity was. They were spamming the well plates to each other.
Dendy fearlessly with an Aegis. Chipping away at that tier 1 tower. Moo's going to try and catch him, but no follow-up TPs.
No, they need to avoid all fights while this Aegis is active. And even past that maybe is, just look at how far ahead Dendy is. 3, 3, and 5, but he has the advantage of just being able to farm, shove out waves. They're always available.
There's Seneko again, wrapping around behind to set up a gank. This time it's going to be Moo caught, and the global silence is just a tad too late. Combination managed to bring Moo, the Korgic hero, down, and the tier 1 tower is going to fall as a result.
Yeah, that's going to go down with these as Complexity. They've got a Razor that wants to fight. This is a fighting hero cap. Every other time that they picked one of these heroes, he was able to battle early on with that lead that he gains. from the tower gold, but this game consistently denied all the opportunities. As Chessie, now he's going to switch sides.
So, do you think that it's okay to have this Razor who naturally always wants to fight and everything, and at the same time have a Furion who, as you said, doesn't want to take the 5-on-5s? It seems like that there's a significant amount of... I mean, you told me once that in Dota right now, you cannot win the game without winning a team fight. It's just not possible
You have
anymore.
to be able to win a fight. But
it
hopefully
feels like a little short-sighted not having any of that power behind you, neither the late game nor the team fighting aspect.
Well, I think the hope was that with the Spirit Breaker, Razor, Nature's Prophet combination, they could always just TP in on this mid. This isn't a Mirana or a Queen of Pain. This is a hero that should be relatively easy to kill. But both times that they went for her, they essentially had to trade out. And so it makes it so Dendi doesn't actually get that far behind. And on top of that, once Dendi gets a few levels, he can outflash from this Razor.
Kyle's going to be grabbed. Just wrong position here from Complexity. They managed to get the silence. And now, 4-second stun onto the Razor. That's a big one. They throw out the ice wall, but they can't actually protect him enough. Crystallize dropping lower and lower, but he goes in deep, trying to catch Moo. He's giving up his life to be able to win this team fight for his team as Dendi chases down the rest of these heroes. Laguna Blade out on the Furion. He tries to force staff himself away, deep away. He's the last surviving member of Complexity, trying to run away from General, but he just won't make it out. Well played from Kyle. General can't see him. He doesn't have flying.
No, he doesn't. And I mean, that's a morale boosting. Well played, but you still lost 4 heroes in front of your tier 2. Dendi, travel boots in, immediately back alive. They're going to take this tier 2, take a lot more map control and leeway as Chessie going to TP for that arcane rune.
Whoa,
and they spot Kyle. He is so dead.
Yo, Kyle, not the place to be.
Counter spam it.
I feel like Complexity is tilting out here.
I needed Roger to start spamming new meta.
New meta.
But Navi, they're feeling it. Crowd firmly behind them.
I mean, I thought it was so insane. Complexity was playing such a blisteringly fast game.
Yes.
And Navi kept up every step of the way.
They did. And it was because they recognized, okay guys, these are the fights that we can take. These are the fights that we can't. We really need to focus on this mid lane. Remember, they abandoned bottom for like 2 minutes to make sure that Dendi would always get traded out. They made sure that Limp died in that process. They dissuaded Complexity from making those moves mid. And eventually it just pays off because they have more cores that can flash farm.
That's all. I swear, that's a lot of patience. Just as Crystallize sit there and go, all right, I'm just going to keep dodging.
He's just like, he's running up and down.
Yeah,
General's just like, I guess I'm a 4-position Night Stalker.
Yeah, exactly.
He legitimately was a 4-position Night Stalker this game. He completely gave up on farming, and Roger did a very good job with his rotations as he's going to get it gone on mid. This is a lot of spell commitment, though.
They are easily going to be able to get that kill down for 45 seconds.
They don't kill him very quickly, though. Without BKBs or a Silver Edge, he does not go down as fast as you'd like.
Dendi tries a free LSA.
Yeah, and Complexity now battling back. They want this tier 2. They want to open up these tier 2s. More than this mid one, though, they want to be able to take the side tier 2s so that they can start pressuring the base a little bit more easy, especially that bottom one cap, so that they always have control of that Roshan area. Right. As a Nature's Prophet player, when you lose that tier 2 bottom, it opens up that Roshan. It makes it very difficult for Radiant to pick their fights.
Yeah, you're basically saying, hey, you want to try and take Roshan? I'm going to take your tier 3. And that's very important for keeping Shrines alive. I mean, you unlock Shrines as a Furion, it's like a freebie. You know, you're just going to keep throwing treants at him. You can't protect those Shrines anymore.
Yeah, speaking of which, just going to hover over his talents. He's got the 250 HP, very common nowadays. You want to tank up a little bit more.
Up to the top lane. Limp. He's going to be target here. They're going to try and blow him up immediately. Ice Path holds in, Crystallize, and now the Global Silence. But a lot of damage already thrown on Limp. With the Maledict on top of him, he has to continue to run himself away. Meanwhile, Dendi managed to find himself a Spirit Breaker in Z-Freak. They're going into the back line as well. It looks like Moo's going to drop. Crystallize just running over all of these heroes. Well, General picks off the last hero. Chessie, the only one to make it out of those team fights alive again. A 4-for-0 this time around for NaVi.
Yeah, that was such an awkward fight just because NaVi, they didn't really target fire. They're like, we'll take 3 different skirmishes and kill all of you and lose absolutely nothing for it. 10K gold lead now at just 25 minutes into the game. For Complexity to have any shot, Chessie's going to have to do a lot of legwork right now.
NaVi, they're finally taking more towers than Complexity. That's one of those moments. You know, it's like the moment where your net worth is larger than the Alchemist lineup.
Yes.
It's like when you're getting more towers than the Furion lineup. That's how you know you're really ahead.
It's not just the Nature's Prophet lineup. It's when you play against a Jakiro and a Nature's Prophet, both who are core, and you start getting ahead in net worth, you start taking a little bit more map control, it becomes suffocating. The amount of plays that you get are very limited. They just took that fight at that tier 2, get absolutely wrecked as now NaVi gonna go for another Roshan. Z-Freak, no Invis Rune this time. And once again, they don't have sentries. If he did, that would have been hilarious.
What I love about these early Roshans, it makes that second Rosh look so much better. 26-minute Aegis and Cheese.
Yeah, that's your sign to go high ground. And coL, Dendi blinking in.
Ice Path will not save you, my friend. 31-15, NaVi, Aegis,
They're gonna go high ground.
5 heroes up, time to go high ground.
They've got Manta on their Chaos Knight. He's got Phantasm in just 17 seconds, and they know for a fact now that Complexity cannot fight them. But maybe with the help of these 3 shrines, this is the game changer.
3 shrines. They've got okay high ground, we'll say. In Mu being able to spam out a lot of spells, and they're pushing down that bottom tier 2 with the extra 4 treants, but Z-Freak giving up his life already. Chessie actually comes back to this team fight. They're going to try and fight this one. It looks impossible, but they're going to try anyway. Limp already being brought low. First shrine already activated, one by one. They're going through the shrines, trying to keep Limp alive. It gets them out, and it gets heavy damage to Crystallize. A 3-second stun in the back line with General beating him down. He's not a support anymore. He's a core. He'll give his life up for that kill. Crystallize trying to make his way back. The AoE damage is just enough to be able to finish off that Aegis.
Sends 3.
Complexity are trying to get this extra kill, but the paralyzing cast, it's holding them in place. Crystallize beginning to make his way out. The Sprout pushed out of that one. Nice LSA on to 2. Spirit Breaker trying to control up Crystallize as much as possible, but he's taking so much damage. Limp is instead going for the backline. These squishier heroes. Spirit Breaker ends up going down, but Limp, he's so low. Dendi launch shot, no uphill miss here. Dendi
another
turns,
2-man stun.
Another 2-man LSA. Roger's gonna pick him apart one by one. Mu left for last as a Yule Scepter brings him down. He gets a little damage on Dendi, but I have to feel, even if he does get this kill, it's nowhere near worth it. A Bloodstone heals up Crystallize and Roger, and they'll continue to take that tier 3.
He's gonna boot to travel in. And Complexity have wasted every single buyback in this attempt at defending. NaVi full HP. You've got to imagine that Complexity right now, they're getting that feeling in their stomach when they know they've lost, as Mu, last one alive. Hopeless attempt. He's going to go down as well.
There is
GG
nothing,
is called.
Nothing left in the tank for Complexity and the crowd on their feet. A fast, aggressive game where NaVi are the victors.
Crowd is on their feet. Dendi giving them the thumbs up, looking very relieved. Probably a position that they haven't been in quite some time.
Yeah, NaVi being pressured in the early game, that doesn't sound like them. Usually they're the ones taking the first step forward.
And even more than that, finding success against a Complexity team that absolutely destroyed the second place newbie.
Yeah, easy 2-0. Weren't even close games whatsoever. And NaVi, they had to go the distance against Secret, but it has proved to make them the better team. Already 1-0 up here. I dare say it, we may see NaVi top the line here at Starladder once again.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Our first game, so much action and so many things for our panel to break down. It's up to you guys.
Thank you, Capitalist and Blitz. And indeed, that was a very action-packed game, but I'm not going to lie. I thought Complexity had that after the first 15 minutes or so, sitting here with Winter and Fogged. Fogged, you're nodding. Complexity, you thought they had that too.
Yeah, they got handled after that early game. That Razor just felt like he was pretty useless. He couldn't really do anything versus the sheer run it you line up their NaVi. And Crystallize played super well this game on the CK. He was very farmed, kept up even, he was top of net worth, I think, the entire game, right?
Yeah.
Even though he was getting pressured a bit, because I like the interesting thing that NaVi did is that they decided to switch the lanes up and they had the CK in the offensive lane with the Witch Doctor. So it let him just kind of farm, where I thought he was going to be pressured a lot from that Jakiro and Spirit Breaker. So that was a cool approach.
They wanted CK against Prophet and not against the Jakiro. That's pretty much the idea there.
Yeah.
They think that he would actually suffer a lot in farm. And the other thing that I think coL did pretty bad this game was their global silence wasn't very fruitful the whole game. It was like, a lot of it was like oh, we got jump. Let's just
global.
global and try to fight. It wasn't like we go in, we global, and we kill them.
That was our one concern, we saw the silencer picked up and all of us were like, okay, it's a silencer, but, in hindsight, you look back and you're like, it doesn't really fit for anything, because it's not like they have like some big jumper to start the fight or anything. It's a Spirit Breaker charging through, and then a global can kind of come out, but there's no real like thing that they're stopping. There's nothing that is really like going for there. And
yeah, we were kind of talking about the idea of the silencer. I think maybe they were just trying to have the Jakiro. They wanted Jakiro support. Then they saw the CK. They were like, okay, Jakiro is pretty good against CK. Maybe we give Jakiro more farm priority, more experience, so we bump it up to a core position. Then we pick another support.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really work out that way. Spirit Breaker though did a lot of work early on.
Yeah, he did.
Well, because they did get ahead, so we were picking apart their lineup a little bit, but they were winning at some point this game.
Yeah, they had some good rotations, but they had to commit so many heroes every single time. I felt like they started falling a bit behind in experience, because it would be like they have to kill one hero and they'd have to bring the Spirit Breaker and the Nature's Prophet. And I feel like I actually think I saw Chelsea die majority of the times when he poured it in. He'd pour it in, they'd get a kill, he would die right afterwards. So he started falling behind in farm, and yeah, they couldn't really get that complexity thing going that I like to say is like that group up where you see them all five beating on those towers. They were just getting dismantled by NaVi's movements.
We have the highlights of the game as well. We can take a look at how that game actually happened. And I mean they tried to go for the 5-man. It seemed like just NaVi knew exactly what was coming and had a good lineup to deal with that as well. But the early game still, complexity is in a good position.
I mean, Roger's terrifying against Enchantress. Look at these, all these creeps, this micro. Seneko even comes to the fray. General comes to the fray. It's like 8 heroes in the mid lane, 2 minutes in.
He reminds me of like art style support.
He still dies.
He would just like constantly gank and pressure you.
Yeah.
Instead of like focusing on like certain players when they play the jungling heroes, they will focus a lot more on their own economy. Like Puppy's Chen would be a pretty good example. His Chen farms a lot, but Roger is like all out trying to kill you all the time.
Yeah, art style. It reminds me of art style and of Ake, when Ake would play it back in the day, where he just would constantly be running around trying to make moves for his team. But yeah, I think also a lot of like kills ended up being missed for complexity early. I think General like living by the skin of his teeth like 3 or 4 times as well. So it was like very minimal things that just kind of setting them back, and them having to take these like awkward fights that didn't really work out. This one is, in particular, I couldn't believe this. He gets like a full drain on Crystallize, and I'm just gonna look at Limp just dying to the Phantasm illusions. Yeah. Even though he's fully draining the CK, he still just dies just to those Phantasms. So the Razor really started to fall behind in this one.
Yeah, and at that point, Jakiro's dead as well.
I think this was the first global fight as well. Like they took the fight, but they got jumped first. Jakiro got initiated by the enemy team, and then they had to global to try and fight after. So they weren't really in a really good position. This one was like the silencer getting caught. I think this was after the Roche.
Yeah, by this point it was like very difficult. It seemed like for Complexity to do anything.
Like pretty much they couldn't really take very good initiatives in the fights. Their laning phase was okay. They had like a small lead, but after that they weren't able to take any good fights, like fights on their terms. And Razor wasn't, he wasn't snowballing hard enough.
I felt like the fights were starting like we see the Jakiro pushing a tower, and they would start chasing the Jakiro because he's a very slow hero, and then Complexity would start running in with like 3 or 4 heroes, and it's just not how they want the fight to start. They need all 5 to be there at that moment when the global comes out. And
the synergy is not so good though. I think their heroes maybe like I think. When they want to use the global, it's also quite hard because the only way they can reliably start, it's not even reliable, the SB charging in. They don't have anything else to like stun, or try and force them to fight. The Sprout is not that reliable. He didn't even have Ice Path until very late. He chose to max Dual Breath and Liquid Fire first.
Yeah, Seneco's Witch Doctor as well. I mean, they know that Complexity is going to group up. You throw a cast, and that group up is just useless.
The cask did work again this game, and I liked his skill build. I think Seneko always does it. He's one of the Witch Doctor players I see that always just goes 4-0-4. He never gets the heal. That's his playstyle, just very aggressive, try to go for kills.
Yeah, and it worked out. I mean, they got that kill on the Spirit Breaker because of the Maledict level earlier on.
Still, I like the idea that how they open with the Spirit Breaker and Prophet against what Navi's playstyle and Navi's game plan. It's just the pieces after that didn't feel like it was so good with each other after watching the game. Because I actually felt good until the 4th pick, until the Jakiro, Prophet, Spirit Breaker and the Razor. It was still okay for me. But when they decided to pick the Silencer and bump the Jakiro to a core, then I didn't feel so comfortable with the last pick.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Crystallize this game anyway. I really liked his farming pattern. He always seemed to be at the fights as well with Phantasm up.
Yeah.
I was definitely.
Yeah,
I think I
one
would
thing we
probably
were
put him
talking
in my
about
MVP.
when we were watching the game, like when we watched Navi play previously, they didn't feel like a team like the previous roster. They didn't feel like a team so much. They were like always scattered around. This team, they're doing something, and then the 3-man ganking, like they're starting a fight mid, and then the other 2 guys would like TP on the side. They will connect to or run control rune and run to the mid lane. Or if the fight is in mid lane, like they will
Which
be
it normally was.
yeah, they will always be at the same time. In the same place, which is a very, very big indication that the team is playing on the same page.
It's a communication, right?
Yeah.
Sasha, right? Havost.
Yeah.
Havost is the
He's
key.
on that.
I think having a 90-minute game or like an 89-minute game or whatever it was before this also helps a lot because you really start working on those like critical things, like critical teamwork, because that's what wins those games.
You can't practice that unless you have a game
Unless
like
you
that.
have a 90-minute game, yeah.
And it worked out.
I think they have to do something about the Eng though. Maybe go back to the Chen. I'm not sure what they feel would work, or just ban it. Like something has to be done against the Navi early game, and they have to come up with a better lineup. If they want to go back with the same, give Enchant and give the go back with the same Prophet SB, they need to pick better heroes to pair with the opening.
Yeah, for MVP, I mean, we mentioned the early game. We did select Roger for that.
Yeah, I think
he had it before, but you know, he gets it again. He plays that hero so well, and they play around it so well that it's only fair.
I think he did so much to enable his team to just be able to do what happened. You know, him making those rotations mid is what forced everybody else to move.
Yeah.
So you see the Furion port in, Spirit Breaker comes in, and then that's where Crystallize is able to just sit there and farm and be that monster that we saw him become.
I mean,
so
even though he was dying in the exchange, but he made the Razor poor. And Razor is like similar to like a Viper. Like if this kind of heroes, they die in the lane, they struggle, they're gonna be so weak later on.
Super worthless, yeah.
And then they can't really do much either. They have to be tanky. They have to go on the forefront.
They have to be ahead.
They have to be ahead to be able to actually have a big impact on the game. But there's another chance for Complexity to force out that 3rd game and make their way to the playoffs on Sunday. We're gonna have a short break, but when we're back, we're here for Game 2. So stay tuned.